Here's Frances Ashcroft with her informative insight. And here's the kicker. The same techniques that convince terrorists to put down their weapons can also help you get a raise, close a business deal, or settle an argument at home without losing your cool. This isn't theory. This is real. These are strategies tested in the highest stakes situations on Earth. And by the end of this episode, you'll see how they apply to your everyday life. So buckle in, because today, we're going to learn how to negotiate as if your life depended on it.
He who has learned to disagree without being disagreeable has discovered the most valuable secret to negotiation. Let me ask you something. What if I told you the same skills used by FBI hostage negotiator could help you get a raise, settle an argument with your partner, or even talk your way out of a parking? That's right. The tools of life and death negotiations aren't just for high-stake hostage situations. They are for everyday life. And today, we're diving into Chris Voss's best-selling book, Never Split the Difference, the ultimate guide to negotiating as if your life depended on it. Stick with me, because the tactics you'll hear today are proven to change conversations, tilt the odds in your favor, and even save lives. Now, before we get too serious, let's just say this. When I first read about FBI negotiation tactics, I thought, finally, a way to get my family to decide on where to eat dinner without a 2-hour argument. I mean, let's be honest. Sometimes getting people to agree on pizza versus sushi feels harder than negotiating with a bank robber. Chris Voss isn't just an author with good ideas. He lived this stuff. He spent 24 years in the FBI, rising to become the Bureau's lead international kidnapping negotiator. He was face to face with terrorists, bank robbers, and kidnappers in over 150 high-stake cases around the world. One story he shares is negotiating in the Philippines when an American businessman was kidnapped by a ruthless gang. The family was terrified. The kidnappers were demanding millions, and the clock was ticking. Instead of pushing back or making counteroffers, Voss leaned on something counterintuitive, listening deeply and making the other side feel understood. Are we practicing active listening today? Think about that. That's the foundation of this book. Negotiation isn't about talking louder, it's about listening. Here's something wild. The FBI reports that over 90% of hostage negotiations worldwide end peacefully. No bullet, no death, because of trained negotiators like Voss. Think about that. People with guns, nothing to lose, are more likely to walk away peacefully than your average person is to compromise in a business meeting. That's the power of these tools. One of Voss's simplest yet most powerful tools is mirroring. It's when you repeat the last words someone said with a question. It makes people feel heard, and it encourages them to expand. Someone says, I just don't think the price is fair. You reply, the price isn't fair. Suddenly, they spill more. Yeah, because I saw it for 20% less online, but I like working with someone local. Now you've got leverage, and all you did was mirror. Remember, if mirroring can calm down an armed kidnapper, imagine what it could do if at your next job interview or salary negotiation. So listen closely to what I say. Download this podcast, save it, come back and listen to it. So then you learn these tactics to use when it comes to getting a better income and earning yourself a better living. So labeling. This is when you name the emotion the other person is feeling. For example, it seems like you're frustrated, or it sounded like you're worried about wasting money. When you label the other person's feelings, the other person feels understood. And when people feel understood, their defenses drop. Voss once used labeling with a bank robber who had hostages. Instead of shouting commands, he calmly said, it seems like you don't want to hurt him. That small statement reframed the bank robber's identity, shifting from dangerous criminal to reluctant participant. Hours later, the hostages walked out alive. According to the International Association of Hostage Negotiation, in cases where active listening skills like mirroring and labeling were used, crisis incidents dropped and violence by over 70%. 70%. That's real world weight behind these tools.
Everybody's in up to 7 negotiations each and every day. If you're in a conversation where the words I want are in anybody's brain, you're in a negotiation.
Yeah.
If you're in an interaction where you're hoping the word yes comes out, you're in a negotiation. One of my favorite examples, a gentleman worked at Starbucks said, I give decaf to people who are mean to me. Are you in a negotiation when you're ordering coffee at Starbucks? Yes, you are.
Voss's secret weapon is the calibrated question. Instead of asking yes or no questions, ask how and what. How did that happen? What caused that to happen? For example, instead of saying, can you lower the price? Ask, how am I supposed to do that at this price? For example, I think that's a great example. This flips the problem onto them. It makes them part of solving it. In FBI cases, it was how negotiators got kidnappers to lower ransoms. In everyday life, it's how you get your boss to think with you, not against you. Chris Voss tells a funny story about using these tactics at home. His teenage son wanted to borrow the car late at night. Instead of saying no, Voss asked, how am I supposed to know you'll be safe? His son, forced to think through the risk, ended up negotiating against himself and settled for an early curfew. That's tactical empathy in action. I thought that was a great part of this book, and hopefully you'll go out there and get this book and check it out. So let me say it again. If calibrated questions can bring down ransom demands from $5 million to $500,000, like this book tells us, what could they do for you in your next salary review? Think about it. Here's the bottom line. Never split the difference isn't about tricking people. It's about understanding people. It's about replacing arguments with empathy and replacing compromise with real solutions. Chris Voss shows us that every conversation isn't a negotiation, whether it's life or death, business or personal. And once you learn these tools, you'll never see a conversation the same way. Because remember, if FBI negotiators can talk armed criminals into surrendering without a fight, then yes, you can absolutely get your kids to do their homework. And thank you for listening to the You Only podcast. This has been Lo Jackson. Until next time, fans, thank you again for listening, and please share and follow me. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, I'm on Audible. Obviously, I'm on Spotify, Apple, Castbox, Pandora, iHeartRadio. Thank you again, fans. I appreciate every single one of you. Until next time.
You Only podcast. With Lo Jackson, rewire the mind. Yeah, the thoughts keep flashing. 60,000 strong, we just keep on growing. Emotional intelligence, a vibe keep flowing. You Only podcast. One mind, one show. Awareness in your soul, let the knowledge just grow. You Only podcast. With Lo Jackson, rewire the mind. Yeah, the thoughts keep flashing. 60,000 strong, we just keep on growing. Emotional intelligence, a vibe keep flowing. You Only podcast.